Jolly is a Fnaf fan game made by Ivan GH on October 6, 2016. It received huge acclaim for being one of the first quality Fnaf fan games. One of my first videos was on Jolly, the mobile port.
So today we are going to be playing Jolly. It's a Fnaf fan game. Also, I played a little to test it.
Which came out on January 1st. This video is going to be on the original PC build. Enough about the history, let's talk about the gameplay. You start off with Jolly looking at you, his head twitching with two buttons, new game and continue. You press new game because continue doesn't work, and night 1 starts. As you probably know, most of these games have lore, and we get our first lore in the newspaper and phone call. Basically, the CEO is losing business to circus babies and decides to build animatronics to compete. The phone guy also tells us that animatronics can't be turned off because they will rust if they do. The animatronics introduced in this night are Tweety, George, and the biggest pain in the back ever. Let's start off with Tweety. She will start on the stage and make her way to the elevator, then to your office. You can combat this by, as the trailer says, pushing the elevator. Fun fact, that intro at the beginning of the video was an edited version of the trailer. Next, George will start in party room 1 and progressively make his way to the vent. Then after, he will begin heading to your office. If Tweety or George gets to your office, you only have one choice left. Close the door. It will then make him go away. You can tell by the steps which kinda, and I mean kinda, sound like vent clanking. After that, we have her mechanic is like a music box, but instead you have to repair these wires whenever they go red. If they all go out, she starts literally according to the lore, phasing through your walls and doors, and reaches your office to kill you. One thing I haven't mentioned is the power situation. You start with 100 power, and you have 150 power in the generator. Things that will use up this power are turning on the lights, turning on the camera, shutting both George and Maxie's vents, and closing the door. And before I end this night, here's the phone man's call.
Hello. Hey there. Did you receive the memo? In case you didn't, we just got the new animatronics from the CEO sent us yesterday. These animatronics are manufactured by one of the finest robotic companies out there. They walk around at day. Speaking of, look at what we found lying around in the back. Cameras! They're pretty damn old though, so the colours that you see in the camera would be dull. Also, these animatronics aren't allowed to be turned off. The engineers that we met yesterday said that turning the robots off would make the metal rusty, causing them to collapse. Yeah, you have to keep track of them wherever they go. You can close the door shut if you see them coming through your office. These doors are special and do require a lot of power. I think it's because the door is powered by some kind of piston system, and it keeps pushing itself down to keep the animatronics from pulling the door. Not to worry though, you can recharge it by opening the charging panel. The charging panel can be found at the right side of the room. Use this to take the power from our generator and transfer it to the building power, which is used by our doors and cameras. The charging panel also allows you to seal the vents on party room 1 and party room 2. In case one of the animatronics there decides to climb through the vents, now the rest of the animatronics may use the elevator to go down. You can control where the elevator is by the camera. To switch over to Cam 14 and you can control the elevator there. Now, we also received an unused animatronic that came along with the other one. Now that animatronic ignores the doors, climbs through walls and ceilings. To stop him from getting away, go over camera 11, click on a wire, and when it goes red, the red colour means the wire is being broken. Click on a wire fixes it remotely through the cameras. I think that's it. You should be safe. Check the cameras, check the light in front of you, and you should be okay. Alright, have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
After each night, there is a little arcade segment, kinda like Fnaf 3. This one starts off with you as Jolly, on stage next to Tweety. Maxie and George are in their respective rooms. You walk until you see the who tells you to follow her. So you do, and the segment ends with the text, "Let's see." Night 2 starts and the phone guy gives us a bit of lore by telling us the box in our office comes from the Fnaf 3 location that the Jolly company got from an auction, and how Jolly was the first animatronic designed and made by the company. Same strategy as last night, know where the animatronics are and then close the doors. Only one more animatronic is added tonight, and it's Maxie, who works exactly the same as his brother. So not much more to offer this night except for lore. Oh yeah, I also figured out the F5 quits the game.
Hey, congrats that too. By now you may have noticed a box full of parts in your office. Yeah, that came from the auction last week. They were bought from this place called Buzzbear's Scam or something like that. We were busy unpacking and building the animatronics and we didn't have the time to lift the boxes of spare parts in your office to the parts service. Yeah, those parts are pretty out. Speak of artwork, did Jolly ever leave the main stage? Probably not. Jolly's the most special animatronic, as you can probably tell. He's the oldest designed character among all of them too. Yeah, he's the most memorable when it comes to children. I want to remind you about the usage of the air vents and the elevator. You don't really need to keep them sealed. Hey, here's an advice. Seal them when you're too busy fixing Cam 11's ropes. That should work well with the elevator too. Alright, talk to you soon.
This time, we start off on the stage again, but this time with a crowd watching us. Seems like the place is open, and that what happened last time either happened before the place opened or at night. And considering the place just recently opened, I'd go with the first option. We see the all chained up like we see her in game, and she tells us it's okay. But when we walk out the room, we get shanked by some guy, most likely a worker, and get the text, "What your?" Night 3 starts and we don't get much exposition from the phone guy, except that Jolly can block the door, which leads into a special mechanic. He enters through the elevator like Tweety. And I'm not too sure if using the elevator does anything, because by this point things are moving too quickly to use the elevator all the time like said by the phone guy, and I never found out.
Hello? Hello? I won't take any much of your time since Jolly and his gang seem to be pretty active as the week progresses. I forgot to mention, when Jolly enters in front of your office and the door isn't closed, Jolly will clog the door. You won't be able to close it. Now that shouldn't be a problem if you keep the door closed. Never mind. Keeping the door closed when you don't need it will drain your power. Scratch that. Anyways, good luck. Talk to you soon.
We start this minigame in the middle of a dinner room. As we make our way down, we see this isn't the same area as in previous minigames, as we don't see any of the other cast. Lastly, we get attacked again and then we get the next part of our sentence. I squished all these nights together as they really have nothing new to offer, and you should have realized there's nothing to the gameplay other than check hall, close door, wait, repair, check hall, wait, repair. And I don't want to keep repeating that, so we're just going to talk about the lore. The phone guy tells us that the animatronics are getting more quote-unquote aggressive, and repeats stuff we already knew. On the last night with a call, he says he has to get things set up for this Saturday night. At the end of night 5, we learn our name is Mikhail and get our check. Night 6, the same thing happens, rinse and repeat.
Hello? Hello? Hey there, night 4. You're getting the hang of it. Just to remind you, things tend to get aggressive starting on this night. I don't know why, so be reminded to keep the door shut only when 100% necessary. Just because you can recharge the power doesn't mean can use it forever. The generator was still limited. Alright, so you seem to have everything under control. Talk to you tomorrow.
Lastly, the final minigame has us once again in the same area, following the dude who's been killing us, just to once again get killed. This final minigame spells out the sentence, "Let's see what you're made of."
Hello? Hello? I won't talk to you today for a long time because I gotta get some things set up for this Saturday night. Same old, keep the door shut, power, blah 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 blah. Alright, talk to you sometime soon.
We play from the perspective of Jolly. You see the kitchen. Until eventually the screen fades, this time with white static. This most likely represents what Jolly saw when he was being dismantled. The hardest challenge in the game, and also why the intro is the way it is. Back when I originally played this game, I tried to beat this, but on mobile. It's basically infeasible because of the slow controls and horrible RNG both versions have. You can break characters down into sections and rank them. The first section is the nuisances. That includes everyone but here they are ranked: Tweety, George, Maxie, Jolly. They are considered nuisances because of how easy they are to deal with, but how quickly they can kill you. For example, in this night, a huge part of the strategy is use having no power be used up for a long time in the night. And let's say you try to do this, and you do it for too long. One of two things can happen that are in direct correlation with these animatronics. First, one can enter without you realizing they're at the door and kill you. Or, you can be at the door and have to go repair and get killed by these guys because you didn't close the door. And the reason Jolly is at the top is because he literally blocks your doorway, not even allowing you to stop the other animatronics, and ending your run instantaneously. Much like our next animatronic, who has their own category. Has a very simple mechanic: fix her wires. But where the difficulty comes in is the speed and accuracy needed for this mechanic. Because fun fact, can shut down her wires in less than a second. Meaning that even if you're on the camera button and you're even a second too late, it's lights out. Literally. Because now your best option for a PR is to waste all your power before she gets inside to kill you. But with all that explained, let's talk strategy. So first of all, you want to stall as long as possible at the beginning of the night without using power. This normally gives you a few extra seconds in the endgame, guaranteeing a longer run. You may feel pressured by the alarms going off, but don't worry. Has to take the wires out one at a time, and will take a minimum 25 seconds to get all her wires, unless you're super unlucky. This also goes for nuisances, but a little bit shorter since I've had some show up at the 20-second mark before, so be careful. Next, let's talk about how the wires will work tonight. There are two viable strategies that I found work. First off is having one wire on, which will increase the risk of escaping, but lower power consumption. Secondly, is having two wires on. This will do the opposite of the last strategy, keeping them down longer, but using a lot more power. These strategies are mostly decided by how long you choose to wait at the beginning of the night. Lastly, the door is an important subject because it helps you reduce your power, since most of the night you will have to shut it, since the risk of trying to time when the will attack and when the nuisance will attack is way too huge. So what you want to do is fix the and check if the sound cues have been activated long enough to justify going to the door, or just flash the light to get an easier answer, but wasting more power. And if the answer is that you're able to check the door, then pray that the doesn't pull one of her 2-second buffer attacks, and open the door for a bit, and if needed, recharge the power, and finally go back to waiting for So, a lot of waiting, fast accurate clicking, and lots of luck. Alright, let's run it. Oh, okay, first game over. Dude, I literally clicked it. Night Vision. Fuck! Like, what is that? What actually is that? What am I supposed to do, bro? What am I supposed to do? Can you still get me in the power out there? Dude. Freaking hate this game. I hate everything associated with it. I hate you, I hate me, I hate you. Fuck! Fuck! Like what? Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha, yeah, crash my game. Crash my freaking game. Crash my game. Cause you are so fun. I'm the first person to ever find an Easter egg. No one else has found an Easter egg except for me. Because no one else has even tried this challenge that much except for me. No, but seriously, I couldn't find this anywhere, on the wiki or online. And it seems this might be a recent copy of the game because it seems that the game was already data mined a while ago and it still wasn't on the wiki. How strange. Oh my gosh, dude. I never want to play. I never want to play a stupid game ever again. It's not even a good freaking victory, dude. Metal parts of our beloved animatronics have been scattered through Jolly's fantasy world this morning. Investigation suggests that they were destroyed by someone who has not been named. Investigation will continue this week. Employees are not permitted to go to work just yet.